Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So, we've talked about different types of investing and we've touched on like real estate investing kind of. More specifically, we touched on like REITs and stuff like that. But now we're going to talk about actually investing in real estate, right? Like, rental properties and stuff like that because if you're going to do it, you got to ask yourself this question, right? You think you can handle being a landlord, right? Those rental properties can be a great source of passive income, but that's going to require a lot of active work, right? So we really need to ask, is being a landlord like for you? Like, can you do it, right? Um, since 2007, the number of renters nationwide has steadily increased, right? Everyone needs somewhere to live. With housing prices high, right? Like right now in September of 21, right? We're seeing houses just ridiculous, right? People aren't going to stop renting anytime soon, right? Combine the demand for, rental units with a chance to earn passive income, and residential real estate becomes a solid investment, right? Well, landlords don't just sit and let money roll in, right? You'll need to do plenty of research before even buying a property. You also perform continuous maintenance, keep up to date on housing law, and balance tenant satisfaction with your own needs, right? Being a landlord is going to keep you busy. Well, how about what are some of the pros, right? Well, for long-term savings, right? Property purchased wisely, it can't be beat. The rent you receive supplements your monthly mortgage and possibly other expenses. Your rental property is also ideally appreciating value over time. As a property owner, you're eligible for tax benefits. You can deduct depreciation costs, property management expenses, and insurance, right? Among some other things, right? You got to make sure to keep accurate records, though, right? The money you earn and save over time can help you achieve financial goals. Day to day, the revenue stream helps out too. You know, uh, some landlords who own single family rental properties for decades, they might save that rent money for their children's college education or maybe for their own retirement or both, right? Well, that's some of the pros. What are some of the cons? Well, tenant problems are your responsibility 24/7, 365 days a year, right? A flooded house, complaining neighbors, you're going to get a call. You can hire a property manager to assist with the maintenance work, but you should be on top of the situation too. You need a calm and level head. Not to mention a thick skin when the time comes to evict a tenant who can't pay. You have to act as a business owner. Now, in this situation, and luckily for me, I'm just now dabbling in real estate. Me and my partner are looking to do rental properties as well as Airbnbs and stuff like that. And I'm very lucky and very fortunate that my business partner is very much a people person, right? And I'm very much a like numbers person, right? Like I can find the deals and I can bring the people in and stuff like that. And he is very much, you know, very good at handling people and being cordial and taking care of what needs to be taken care of face to face. And he's also very handy and stuff like that, right? He's just honestly like we're polar opposites, but we're the exact same, if that makes any sense, right? Like, there's a lot of things that I'm only able to achieve because of him, and there's a lot of things he's able to achieve because of me. Like, we work together very well, right? Um, you know, and honestly, it can be a lot of work, right? You can spend if you're let's say you're doing work yourself on you buy a house and you're fixing it up, right? Or maybe you're in between tenants. You might spend a lot of weekends painting and cleaning out properties, right? Drive to and arrange countless meetings to discuss remodeling projects and repairs. Maybe deal with a whole host of random issues such as late rent payments, feuding neighbors, secret pets. Maybe you don't allow pets in your house, right? Even when tenants move out and you have vacancies, you still got to pay that mortgage, right? Ultimately, the financial risk is yours. Well, let's talk about how to make the investment worthwhile. Do the math. What can you afford to invest? So, plan on a down payment of at least 20%, right, of the property's purchase price. Make sure you're eligible for a loan, right? Getting a mortgage for a rental property is different than taking out a loan for your primary residence. At a minimum, you should be able to cover the monthly mortgage with rental income left over. Remember, You have to pay the mortgage even if your renters don't pay you, right? You need to factor in annual and one-time expenses, right? Think of things like you need to project vacancy costs, right? Usually about 5 to 10% of the annual rent, right? Utilities, if you're gonna, as a landlord, if you're gonna cover the utilities, right, you need to factor that in. Property and liability insurance, real estate taxes, repairs to the home over time, say professional services, attorneys, accountants, maybe if someone's going to manage it for you, compliance with paint and asbestos regulations, right? And once you've decided what to charge in rent, calculate the annual return you can expect from your property, right? Net income divided by expenses, and this is called the capitalization rate or cap rate, right? You may want to consult an accountant at this stage, right? All right. Another thing to talk about is you need to learn the laws and what you are responsible for, right? Renters have a lot of rights. Every landlord should know the local, state, and federal laws pertaining to rental housing in the area. Even if you don't understand certain laws, you're responsible for compliance. Here's what, honestly, okay, so like right here is where an attorney can really come in handy for any regulations you don't understand. Again, this is something I'm very lucky for because I have an attorney in my family, and I try my best not to bother him. But if I ever have questions, I know that I can just shoot him an email, and hopefully I get a response if he's not too busy. Some federal laws include anti-discrimination laws, and being able to make the place habitable, right? You're required, for example, to keep the property safe and habitable, and you're liable for any energies that result if you don't. State laws often specify landlord-tenant regulations, level of access to the building, amounts required for security deposits, and length of notice to give a tenant before they need to leave. Among other issues you'll handle, learn what you and the tenant have a right to expect from each other. So, you know, it needs to be spelled out, like, if you're having them sign this lease contract, exactly what you expect from them, and they should be able to know exactly what they can expect from you, right? You should also look into researching the neighborhood, right, and other neighborhoods around it. Don't just focus on one area of town, right? Like, what's up and coming, right? Because everyone says, location, 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 right? Analyze the rental occupancy trends in any neighborhoods where you want to buy property. Research what renters pay in that area. Now, there's a bunch of online services that help with rental estimates for neighborhoods across the country, right? Look for reliable tenants and low vacancy rates. Pick an area where people want to live and will continue to live in the near future. Ideally, you should also pick a neighborhood familiar to you already, right? If you want maximum convenience, plan to live near your rental property. You can easily check in, complete repairs, and show the property without time-consuming travel, right? So then, how are you going to find a property, right? What can you maintain? Well, if you're new to real estate, try starting out with a single-family rental. Single-family residents are easier to buy and maintain and are less likely to come with high maintenance features. They're also more affordable in any market. Another good option is investing and living in a multifamily home. You'll be close by, and rent payments can help cover the mortgage. You'll also have lower vacancy rates. Both single-family and multifamily investments have their benefits and drawbacks. Always do your research. Now, I'm sure if you're watching this video, there's a good chance that you've seen other videos like this, and you've heard of this before. It's called house hacking, right? So, Graham Steffens talked about this. Andre Jix talked about this. A lot of people online in the real estate world have talked about this, right? So I shouldn't have to go too deep into it, right? I'm sure you have a good understanding of what that is. Another thing you need to do is set the price. What can you charge in rent? Well, the goal is to arrive at a figure that will cover your operating expenses and earn you a return on your investment. So for your operating expenses, some things to remember that you might want to factor in: property taxes, insurance, regular maintenance, and the possibility of vacancies. I know that, some landlords, for instance, they'll assign 5% of gross rental income to maintenance and another 5% to the repairs that come with vacancies, right? So here's where it helps to know what similar rentals in the area charge. You want to be competitive, but not competitive enough to chase away renters. Consider supply and demand. You can reasonably raise the rent if demand is high, but you might need to decrease rent if supply is high. All right, well, how about finding tenants, right? Who's going to be a good fit? Many renters look online. Post an ad on one of several sites where rentals search listings from property owners, or build your own site. When you describe the property, be concise. Highlight the perks or positive features. Include photographs if possible. Tenants will want to show, um, the number of bedrooms and baths, right? Like they want to see that, right? They want to know the monthly rent. They want to know the security deposit and any additional charges, are they paying utilities or are you? You can also include information about accessibility, elevator or stairs, and neighborhood amenities. Maybe it's right down the street from a school, right? Once you have, interested potential renters, pick trustworthy occupants that will last. Vacancy is probably the biggest cost associated with being a landlord. If you can, sit down for an interview with each potential occupant to make sure you're comfortable with each other. Run a background check and credit check on each potential tenant. Background checks may include criminal reports and eviction reports. Tenant screening agencies can help, so can services like US Search, LexisNexis, stuff like that, right? When you screen tenants, know the regulations of the Civil Rights Act and the Fair Housing Act. You're prohibited from discriminating based on race, gender, national origin, family status, religion, and disabilities, right? Another thing to keep in mind is you need to plan for the unexpected. How are you going to handle these problems that come up? Even if you've done your due diligence, investing in rental property still comes with risk. Property damage and non-payment, some of those things they're just going to happen. Not every tenant will obey the rules. Good communication skills are paramount, as is flexibility and knowing when to draw the line. And even with model tenants, appliances break. Make sure to budget plenty of money for maintenance. Get to know good plumbers and electricians and have them on call. Many landlords hire property management companies to do regular inspections and on the ground repairs, right? You're going to have to budget for this expense, but a good management company can be a huge time saver. Well, what about some alternative ways to invest? Well, if you've listened this far in and you're still willing or even excited to become a landlord, great for you. If you still like the idea of investing in real estate, but you're thinking twice about choosing, the right property and dealing with needy tenants, there's going to be alternatives. Stuff like equity multiple connects investors with real estate projects. You'll need to be an accredited investor, meaning you meet the minimum income or net worth requirements, right? For most opportunities, have at least 5,000 to invest, right? So let's kind of recap all this stuff, right? Investing in real estate, it can be very profitable, but it's not the get rich quick play sold by a lot of people online or books or, TV commercials or ads or stuff like that, right? You really got to know what you're doing. You need some capital, and it's going to be some hard work. Successful, real estate investors aren't just good at spotting deals. They're comfortable with working with a team of realtors, mortgage brokers, property managers, lawyers, and others to run what essentially it's a part-time business. It can turn into a full-time business depending on the scale with which, you want to be at. Ultimately, the more work and effort you put into choosing a property to buy, finding tenants, and improving your property, the more profitable you'll be as a real estate investor. Being a successful landlord is an investment of time and money, but if you stay on top of things, you're more likely to reap large returns. Like I said, I personally am just now getting into, the real estate investment stuff. Like I said, me and my partner are looking at buying homes and renting them out. Not all of them. We also want to Airbnb some of them because, like I said, there's places online, websites online you can go to and look at, stuff like this. And I know that the demand for Airbnb in the city with which I live is pretty high. So, you figure a couple houses and, get some people in there, fairly occasionally. And technically with Airbnb, if we have over a 50%, occupancy rate, it's much higher income than just renting it out. So, that's something else to think about too. hopefully you guys got some good information out of this. You guys enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and like the video, share it. And if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and do that as well. And I really hope, I see you guys in the next video. And until then, y'all be safe.